Hello there, World of Tankers. I'm Blitz, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite vehicles from Tier 7 to Tier 10. Of course, today is the 4th, and I wanted to have a fun little video to celebrate the holidays. So, of course, I hope you guys are all doing well out there, spend a lot of time with your families, and shoot off some fireworks, at least if you are in the US. I hope you're all doing well out there. Of course, if you like this type of content, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. But without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. Now, of course, as you can see, I'm going to be starting off with the AMX 1357 as my favorite Tier 7 vehicle. This is just one of the craziest autoloaders in the game. It carries a 6-shell clip, sort of like the Gravedigger. It does 90 damage per shot, and I think it's up to either 530 or 560 damage with the entire clip. Now, I will say, because you do have 6 shells, normally you don't get out all of the damage. You usually bounce 1, 2, or even 3 shells sometimes, but it's got such a quick clip reload. It's only like 10 seconds, then you go right back into shooting your shells, so it's really fun because you're always engaged. And as well, the gun is massive on this tank. Even though it is only a 57mm, it's one of the longest guns in the game, and that's why I love the way it looks. I call it the mosquito, because it pretty much does just suck you dry. And as well, it's one of the most annoying tanks to fight in the game, in my personal opinion. If you have one of these come up behind you, just bam, 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 all of your hit points are stripped right of your tank. Now, that Peter there might be doing not too well. We did get 2 shells off there, so that's already 183 damage for our tank. And let's keep emptying some shells right into this guy, and there you go. That's about 500, 600 damage we whipped right off of that poor STA already. And that's what makes this tank so fun, is just the ability to strip people of their hit points like that. So we have this Type 62 over here, which I hopefully should be draining of the hit points very, very soon. We're going to be finding out. But here we go. There's 1, 2, 3. Come on, keep going. You can hear me spamming my my shoot key. I didn't get that last shell out, but let's tap the defender. So there you go. That was, again, already 1,200 damage. It's just so fun to play this tank. I actually forgot to turn my game volume on there. There we go. But it's just such a fun tank to play. So this is definitely my favorite Tier 7 vehicle. We've got that T20 now. Let's start spamming some more poor shells into that guy. And T20 dead, and we still got 2 more left for the AMX. There you go. 176, and then it is really a quick clip reload. And the reason for that being, of course, is because it does take 5 seconds to unload the entire clip into the enemy. You can see here I am spamming shells, but it's constant shooting. It's not like you just, the AMX 1375, I think it takes, 3 or 2 seconds to get all the shells out. This tank, it really does take quite a bit of time, so that's why it's got such a quick clip reload. But you can see, because it does have that, it makes it really, really fun to play. So there we go, another time to rip this ISU apart, and all that's left is the KV-4. So I don't think it's actually worth it to reload the clip. So can we actually pen him anywhere? There's one, and can we get it? No, unfortunately, didn't get that last shell out there. And even though we were shooting pretty much the entire game, we were only able to get out about 2,300 damage. And yeah, while that's not the most damage, I definitely think that it was super fun. We almost got a mastery in this tank. My opinion is it's not always about how well you do, not always about if the tank is overpowered. My personal opinion is that you should have a favorite tank depending on your personal mood and playstyle, and I think that the 1357 is just such a fun tank to play. As you can see, by the first game we did finish off in the tank. I'm actually surprised we weren't top of the team there. So now moving on to Tier 8. A lot of you people that have been watching me play in my live streams will know that my favorite tank is the Chimera. The Defender Mark 1 is in a close second, third place, but the Chimera is definitely my #1 go-to medium. It's because it has such a large alpha. I remember when this tank came out on World of Tanks PC with 440 alpha, and I was just hoping that they would give the same gun to the tank in Blitz. And I was always thinking, nah, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't give this tank 440 because tanks like the VKs, some of them they do lower alpha, like a VK 100 on World of Tanks PC does 490 damage, but on Blitz it does 460. So I was like, nah, there's no way they're going to give the Chimera 440 alpha, but lo and behold, here it is with that big gun, 10 degrees of gun depression, pretty solid armor. Overall, there's not a lot I can complain about on this tank. It's like grabbing a 34-3, fixing everything on the tank, even giving it 5 more degrees of gun depression. I definitely think that the 34-3 is in dire need of a buff after this vehicle has come into the game, and the Chimera is not even an overpowered tank in my opinion, because if you're not the best player, you're really going to struggle in this vehicle. This is more beneficial to people that know how to run the big alpha guns, because it still doesn't have the best damage per minute. 13.1 second reload, that's about the same as an ISU, and you're losing about 220 average damage there. So we have an RHM that is up in this position, and I want to be careful. I might have shot the HE there, and he still managed to pen us. Wow, I don't even know where he hit us. In the cupola. That is bad luck. I normally do get bad luck, but not that unlucky. So let's see if we can get this AMX as he backs up. You can see that that reload is a killer in certain scenarios, but at the same time, 503 damage. Honestly, I tell everybody, when this tank hits the stores, I actually think it's worth it to buy, just because it's such a strong vehicle. So are we going to be able to hit the shot here? Let's back up a little bit and load an AP shell. There you go, 474 right into the cupola. Again, it's just such a large amount of alpha. You really don't expect it to hurt that bad. We're going to put on our aiming time ability here and pull out on this AT. I'll easily take the trade. Unfortunately, we weren't actually able to get that shell out, but let's see if we can tap this AMX. There we go. Was a bit of a trade, and maybe not one of the safest trades, but we are still on top here. We're still kicking somehow, and maybe, just maybe, this lightweight will push out, which should help us, or he won't. I guess not. Okay, I can't help out the lightweight if it doesn't push, because of course that AT's got a crazy quick reload. So we've got the 34-3 over here. Let's see maybe if we can tap the 34-3. That 34-3 doesn't even stand a chance against our alpha, so let's see if we can get a shell out. Come on. There we go. Nice 430 right into the side of that 34-3. That player obviously is not doing the best right now, so maybe just one more shell we can get into that guy. Come on. I know that we actually out-reload the 34-3, which is kind of stupid if you ask me, but oh no, I have no clue where that shell went. That may have just killed me. Please no. Oh, we survived. That is a miracle. Yeah, I don't know why that shell missed. Now, fun fact is this tank's actually very good at ramming. There you go. So the Chimera is also, I think, the heaviest medium tank in the game. So it's pretty solid at ramming. I like that as well. I'm a very aggressive player, as you can see here by the hit points I've lost. Definitely some big moves here that normally I wouldn't do, but it's like 2:30 in the morning for me. And I just wanted to get a fun little video out for you guys. So we've got that Chrysler here. Let's see if we can slam a shell. Yeah, there we go, 432. That's even a low roll. That's the funny thing about this tank, is getting a roll as high as 430 is a low roll for this vehicle. And you can literally trade with tier 9 heavy tanks sometimes and come out on top because you have such a high average amount of damage. As well, it's got a pretty solid amount of armor just because it's got weird angles. Some of the spots in this tank are like 230 millimeters thick. It's really weird where to penetrate this tank. I just think it's super fun to play. So that, of course, is my favorite tier 8. Now, tier 9 was a tricky one for me because there are two vehicles that are very close. There's the AMX 31R. I have not played this tank in probably 4 or 5 months, even though it is such a fun vehicle to run. However, I had to give my favorite tier 9 spot to the Panzer. This is the first tier 9 vehicle I ever got for free, I'd say, or premium vehicle that I ever got for free when it first came out, which was like 4 years ago at the time. And this was an event where you had to score within the top 1,000 players to get it. And of course, when I started playing this event, this is actually a kind of a funny story. When I first started playing the event, to score within the top 1,000, I was playing the tier 5 because that gave you the most points. I did all the math and stuff, and the tier 5 would get you in the top 5 the easiest, or the top 1,000, not top 5. But I was placed like 1,500, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to earn the tank, and I bought it. I spent $60, bought the Panzer, and then it turns out, a week later when the event ended, well, it turns out I landed in 900th place and got the tank shoved in my account. So I was like, well, there was a waste of $60. So that wasn't very fun for me, but at the same time, I did feel kind of happy that I was able to at least score the tank, and I can say technically I did get it for free. Well, I can say I earned it, we'll put it at that. Now, unfortunately, I cannot pen that DK, however, that Panzer, well, I guess we can't pen that either. So, Panzer, what's good about it and what's bad? You'll notice there's a little bit of a trend with me and damage. I definitely like the big alpha guns, and this is a tank that, of course, carries 560 alpha. That's a very hefty, beefy amount. I'm not sure where the rest of the enemy team is. It looks like they pushed medium. We're already down a bat chat, which isn't super fun. I don't think I can pen that VK. Maybe if it pulls out. There we go. Nice tap. Of course, this does have a very nice amount of alpha, even with the premium. I think it's like 490 or 460. It's something that I absolutely love because I like trading with people. Second of all, pretty solid camouflage rating in this tank. Overall, it's just a pretty nasty tank. Ooh, okay. Come on. There we go, 600. I'll take that trade all day. We took 697 off that IS-7. Now, these bushes here are kind of weird. They don't always work, which is something that's kind of annoying But at the same time, it's fine because, well, I do think we're going to lose this battle just because of medium flank. We've got that Mowry right there. Ooh, wow, that was actually a very lucky tap. Unfortunately, you can see we've got 2 shells now lugged into our armor profile. It doesn't have the best armor. It's got a very solid turret, which is something that I like. I like the thick frontal armor playstyle. However, the upper plate, yeah, that's really not going to be doing much for you. We do have that Panzer, which, yeah, wasn't able to pen our turret, of course, as I said. Actually, a very weird ricochet. You can see right on the roof of the turret. But there's not much I can do right now. I really got to be careful here, because I don't want to lose a lot of HP to a VK, and unfortunately, that Mowry was able to tap us, and I've actually loaded high explosive. That kind of sucks. Yeah, there goes all of our HPs this game. Unfortunately, wasn't able to show maybe the true firepower of this tank, but you know what, I'm happy with what we did here. Unfortunately, again, aimed a little high. Definitely not the best on PC controls here, but I guess you get to see what my favorite tank was in that battle. But yeah, the Panzer, it doesn't have the most pen, doesn't have really anything great going for it, except for the average damage. It's 560. This is sort of like the T92E1 of heavy tanks. Definitely not one of my best performing tanks, but I just think it's a very fun tank, and it gives me a trip back into Blitz history. So, lastly, I'm pretty sure all of you will know what my favorite vehicle is. Sticking with the heavy trend, we have the 111-5A. Now, I absolutely love this tank from head to toe. I think that it looks great. I love the playstyle. I love the alpha. 460, in my opinion, is the perfect amount. It's not too high. Of course, having too high of an alpha really isn't an issue. If this tank did 640, yeah, suit me up there. But I think 460 is just the perfect amount where you have quick enough reload to to hit the enemy back if they shoot you, and at the same time, it's got enough punch to keep people from pushing on you. So I personally do like it on that area, and as well, it's quick. It goes very quick, as you'll see here. It goes right up to 50 kilometers per hour. It's got a decent armor profile. However, the turret on this tank is the strongest turret in the game, which means that you are pretty much impenetrable if you can use it in a hull down position. 7 degrees of gun depression on this tank means that it's very, very effective in most scenarios. That's a 57 heavy. I do not want to play with that. And there's no way I'm going to hit that Vickers light anytime soon. So, oof, this is a pretty tough match right off the bat here. Ooh, okay, it looks like we can pen right through the Vickers light. Oh, no. That's not fun. I'm not sure what to do right now. Okay, well, we got ourselves stuck in a really bad scenario in this area. I'll actually play the Panzer one more battle after this, just because we didn't do the best there. But at least that 57 did unload its clip, I'm pretty sure, which means I'm going to be going to reposition back over to the Mowry side. I definitely think I'll be a little more effective here. Hopefully we can squeeze past this 113. Oof, that's gotta hurt. I don't think that mouse can actually pen us in this angle. There we go, a nice tap into the mouse's turret. Now, there is one downfall for this tank, in my opinion, and that is the actual premium pen on this tank. It's only 303 millimeters. Now, of course, you will see me running calibrated on this tank, which brings it up to 333, but even then, that's still not the beefiest of alphas. I mean, not alphas. It's not the beefiest of penetration values in the game. So we have that Panzer. Let's, come on, WZ, you're completely blocking me there. There we go. But that was a nice chunk of damage we got there. That Vickers light still shoving another shell into the rear of our tank. Hopefully that Sheridan shouldn't be too much of a nuisance here. I'm going to be trying to get the side of this guy here. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. I want to get into safety as quickly as possible. As you can see, there's just a lot of deadly tanks over on the enemy side, so I'm going to be using this mouse here as actually protection against that 4202. Unfortunately, we're not able to get that kill. And again, that Sheridan slamming us. This is definitely one of the weakest positions you can get in like a 111-5A. You normally want to run this tank in a scenario where you can use gun depression, and yeah, this isn't a hull down spot here. So I'm kind of wedged in this position, can't really get damage out, and I'm not going to be pulling out against a Sheridan. No way. No thank you. So I will position my tank here for as long as I need to. I know that I'm pretty well covered against that. Let's see if we can tap that Sheridan. Oof, there's my PC aiming downfall. I still struggle on PC. Even though I played quite a bit, and we were even able to do pretty well in ratings, I don't know, I just really struggle on PC controls. So, I want to be careful from that Sheridan. Most likely going to be pulling out right here, so we're going to find out. Come on, Sheridan, don't you want to play? Maybe not. Maybe Sheridan does not want to play yet with me. So, we got the IS-4, we got the Sheridan pushing out. There we go, nice tap. And hopefully, okay, he shot the teammate, perfect. So we might be getting another shell out here. If we just pen one more shell, we might be breaking the 3,000 damage barrier, which is the barrier I like to break. There we go, and we ricocheted the shell. The 111-5A, get all of them confused, the Chinese tanks. But the 111-5A actually has a very, very strong lower plate. It's 220 millimeters thick, which a lot of people don't know about. It causes you to do a very good job bouncing shells from, of course, vehicles like the IS-4 if you're not shooting the premium rounds. It's just pretty troll. A Sheridan, if you didn't know, has 220 base pen, which means, yeah, Sheridan actually can't pen the lower plate if you angle it just a little bit on the 111-5A. So we're going to be trying here the Kampfpanzer one more time. The biggest issue I'd say with the Kampfpanzer is that it falls apart under stress because it has, I think, well, not anymore. The T-92E1 actually has the lowest DPM out of every single Tier 9 vehicle in the game. However, the Kampfpanzer falls in a close second place. It's got a 15.9 or 15.5 second reload, something crazy like that. And yeah, it's definitely a downfall for the tank, especially if you're being pushed on. However, it's quick, as you can see, got a great power to weight ratio. I think it's one of the nicest looking tanks. It's very clean, looks very modern. It's one thing that I like about the vehicle. Now I've got to be careful here. This might be a very quick demise. I like pushing into this position. However, if a 57 heavy goes on that side and comes up behind me, well, that's going to be a quick watery grave for me. So what do we got? We've got that Mauschen pushing up. There's a nice tap right into the Mauschen. Oh, thank God that 57 is not pushing into a deadly position. But in a spot like this, where I do have my teams covering me, hopefully... Oh, they aren't covering me. Never mind, I jinxed it. So let's see if we can slam a shell. There we go. 543 into that Mauschen. And, well, there we go. We've got the 50B helping us out. So I'm just going to be backing my tank up here. It's got a very solid turret, which is good, of course. So I'm just going to be pushing over to the side of this this guy here. There we go, another nice tap. And there we go. That's the first tank taken out. And I actually want to go looking at the tanks they have. I don't want to fight that T-95, and I would much rather fight this ST-1 because, of course, I've got a big alpha. So let's push on the ST here. Let's see if we can get a shell right into the side of him. There we go, 509. So I'll take that. The ST is going to be taken out here very, very quickly from the AMX, so not going to deal with that. So we have the T-95 and the WT. So this is a way better start to this battle. As you can see, when you've got your teammates around you, it does do a much better job. And that's, of course, because with average damage being much higher, you don't need to pull out as much. It's definitely, in my opinion, stronger tank when you don't need to worry about the team. There we go. Nice high explosive there. Actually, wasn't that high of a roll. But the HE on this tank is pretty deadly. It's about 640 alpha, which I wish it was like 750 or something like that. But it still is a pretty solid number to be holding. So I'm just going to be trying to bait the shell. There we go. Baited it into the ground. And pushing up here, we're going to use our pretty nice heat pen and slam a shell again right into that T-95's lower plate. You can see that the tank is pretty solid played in the correct scenario. Now I want to tap that 57 because, of course, that's the deadliest tank here. And hopefully this T-95 will again be dunking a shell into the ground here. We're going to find out. It's going to be... Ooh, actually did pen the shell on me. That's quite unfortunate for us. However, let's see if we can pen it right in the cubicle. Ooh, I did not think that WT could actually hit us. That is a downfall for us. That was definitely my fault for pushing a little bit aggressive there. But we still, I think, broke 3,000 damage. So I'm very happy with this match. I think we're going to win just looking at the lineup. So this is just a fun little video I wanted to do, a little bit longer than my normal. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. At least my suffering at what time is it now? It is 2:42 a.m. Oof, I really need to get some sleep. A lot of people always ask, do I get sleep? The question is, maybe. But I hope you guys are all doing well out there. Happy 4th, spend some time with your family. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you in the next one, and make sure to subscribe.